Thank you for joining day 2 of this policy-focused workshop on our automated and connected future. My name is Brett Roubinek, and I'm President and CEO of Transportation Research Center, Incorporated. Transportation Research Center, Incorporated has been fortunate to sit at the intersection of advancing safety and innovation in transportation for nearly 50 years now. Our people have played pivotal roles in those pursuits, and we look forward to more of the same in the next 50 years. Yesterday, we heard a lot about the desire and the need for collaboration in this space, collaboration between academia, industry, and government. The three-legged stool, I guess I could say, of this pursuit and leading to the advancement of our connected and automated future. So today we're going to hear from those three collaborators. We're going to hear from academia first with Dr. Ayanna Howard. Then we're going to move over to government with Howard Wood from DriveOhio. And we're going to wrap things up with the industry side and Jonathan Bridges from JobsOhio. But first, I'd like to take a moment to introduce a video message from Lieutenant Governor John Husted. Lieutenant Governor John Husted is a man of good judgment, integrity, and a natural innovator. So we're fortunate to have him leading not only Innovate Ohio, but also advancing our automated driving technology future. Lieutenant Governor.
Hello, I'm John Husted, Ohio's Lieutenant Governor, and it's great to be with you today via video. Sorry I can't be there in person, but I wanted to join you just for a few minutes to talk about Ohio's autonomous vehicle future. First of all, we're killing it in this state with all of the research and development projects that we're doing in our cities, through ODOT, and frankly, through a lot of the research initiatives that are taking place across our state. Let me talk about Fly Ohio first. We're creating advanced mobility here in Ohio in the air. Through the research that's going on, we're excited about the future of autonomous air mobility. Ohio is also home to the Transportation Research Center. Frankly, this is one of the coolest places that does research of this type in the country. Businesses all across the country recognize Ohio's expertise in this area and are using the resources at the Transportation Research Center to accentuate both private and academic research in this area. And then let's talk about DriveOhio and the variety of projects they have going on there, from the 33 Smart Corridor to automated driving systems and the grant process that is taking place there. And then, of course, the I-70 truck corridor. We are really experimenting with automated vehicles in real-world situations and building the infrastructure here in Ohio to make this a reality. Ohio, just by these few examples that I'm using, we're really leading the way in this area as it relates to automated vehicles, the research, the investment, the growth that's coming from it. And in the end, there's two things that will happen. First of all, we're going to appeal to people who are going to use these resources and innovations to improve the quality of life for everyone, not just in this state, but around the globe. And secondly, Ohio will benefit economically from this by creating jobs of the future, attracting new investment, and really growing our state in every sense of the word. So, sorry I can't join you in person, but I thought at least those are a few remarks that are on my mind that I wanted to share with you. I thank you for the work that you do, coming together as a coalition to leverage each other's resources and expertise for the betterment of the people you intend to serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor John Husted. So to kick things off, I'd like to introduce Dr. Ayanna Howard. Dr. Howard is an acclaimed roboticist, innovator, educator, a noted author. She recently moved into the role of Dean of the College of Engineering at The Ohio State University. And we're also fortunate enough to have her serve as the board chair at Transportation Research Center Incorporated. Good morning, Dr. Howard.
Good morning. So what I want to do in this short time that I have with you is really talk to you, one, about the role of advanced mobility, smart mobility, but also how industry and academia play together in order to engage and push forward a lot of these new initiatives. So a lot of people may not know that if you think about the things that are going on in advanced transportation in terms of intelligent mobility, from everything, if you think about DriveOhio to DriveOhio to TRC Inc., that a lot of these initial initiatives came from academia, came from the academic environment. Some of you may have not known that some of the grand challenges in mobility, example, funded a long time ago by federal resources, such as DARPA Grand Challenge, was academics working with industry partners to really re-envision what transportation was about, re-envision what at that time ground mobility looked like in terms of automation, which led to the kind of companies we see that are looking at automated driving, and the companies that are now starting to produce products and making a positive outcomes and having positive impact in our society, in our world. But those came from academic industry partnerships. At The Ohio State University, we have initiatives and centers such as the Center for Automated Research that, again, work with industry partners to imagine the possible 10, 20, 30 years out. If you think about the types of generations that are going to need these advancements in mobility, it's not just older adults, which is a large demographic, individuals with disabilities, it's also the younger generations. There are stats that have shown that our younger generation, K through 12, some of them don't even realize the impact of driving, but they will know what it is to be in an automated vehicle. They will know how to get to the last mile where they come out of their home and they go to college and they won't themselves touch the wheel. And that is enabled by all of the things that are going on in Ohio, all of the intersections between academia and industry to really engage and enable these things. And so in the last kind of minute or two that I have, I just want to talk to you a little bit about the pipeline and the requirements. And so when you think about these partnerships between industry and academia, there is fundamental research, which is, what does industry look like? What does automation look like? What does transportation look like in 10, 20, 30 years? If you think about that as a core, when you link with agencies and you link with industry and you link with initiatives such as TRC, where you can then test these fundamental theories, these fundamental research outcomes on real vehicles and really figure out what needs to be done, you then have products that can engage people, that can enhance our quality of life. And as we know, transportation is this new age. Transportation, in terms of the resources that are being put into, will allow us to have equal access, will expand our opportunities for jobs, and will ensure that we have the quality of life that we as humans really do deserve. I'm excited about what's going on in this smart mobility space and this advanced transportation space. And I'm really excited about all the investments and all the partnerships that are going on between industry and academia. Again, between TRC Inc. and DriveOhio and FlyOhio to really enable this next generation of mobility and advancements in this space. Last thing, remember, this is where we need to be. This is one of those areas that we really need to lean into, and we will have the advantage, the competitive advantage, if we all work together. And with that, I am going to log off. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. In complete agreement. And I would say Ohio, because of those relationships that you highlighted right at the end, is in a fantastic position to go forward. From TRC Incorporated's perspective, our next two guests have kind of proven out that collaborative spirit and have made moves over the last 5 years that have allowed TRC Incorporated to really stay at the forefront when it comes to automated and connected vehicles. And I'm talking about both ODOT and DriveOhio, as well as JobsOhio. So first, I'd like to introduce Howard Wood. Howard is the executive director of DriveOhio. has decades of experience in transportation planning and public policy. And as I mentioned, DriveOhio was a key partner in moving our Smart Center, which is our 540-acre campus for automated and connected testing and development, forward. Howard, welcome.
Thanks, Brett, and great to see you today. And thanks to our guests online here for day 2 of this event. I wanted to call out our partners at PAVE and TRC for putting this together. It's been fabulous, and just a high quality panelists and workshops that we're having. I wanted to acknowledge DriveOhio staff, Luke Stedke and Rich Granger as well. I know they worked really hard on it, but they're so modest that they said, no, don't call us out. Just, focus on the ecosystem, Howard. So that's how they are. And so we hit on it very well. Brett hit on it very well. Our three-legged stool of academia and talking and listening to Dr. Howard, our industry partners who are investing and testing in the state, and our public sector partners, of course, DriveOhio, but DriveOhio is a collection or a focal point of many state agencies and local governments that come together in terms of cooperation and forming a policy forum to advance policy issues, testing, and really all the public policy research and decision making, and probably eventually lawmaking that's going to have to enable this technology. So DriveOhio is certainly testing, and we certainly have the US 33 Smart Mobility Corridor, as Lieutenant Governor Husted pointed out. But just as importantly, we're a forum for dialogue on smart mobility issues and automated vehicle technology. It's necessary, as we heard from some guests from AAA yesterday, to do this work of dialogue and public education. AAA has been doing surveys since 2016 on AV technology, and guess what? We have public perceptions and trust issues and confusion around AV technology. So we have work to do, and that's why we're in no small part here today. PAVE was created to address these public education issues head on, and my time with them has been fabulous, and their work is making a difference. At the same time, we're working with our partners in economic development to take advantage of smart mobility and the Ohio smart mobility ecosystem represented today, while adapting our workforce for these important changes to come, as Dr. Howard mentioned, envisioning where we'll be in 10 to 15 years with automated vehicle technology, with electric vehicle technology, and both on the ground and of course in the air. So a key to these efforts are my good friend Jonathan Bridges, that you'll hear from next from JobsOhio. Sorry, Jonathan, I'm giving you a new job. So I'll turn it back to Brett to make that introduction. And again, thanks for everyone's participation today, and PAVE and TRC for helping to put this together. I'll turn it back to Brett.
Thank you, Howard. And certainly want to echo Howard's comments about all who have been involved in this effort. It's critical to advancing the conversation in the public domain. So shifting gears a little bit, if I went into Jonathan Bridges' background, essentially growing up in the automotive industry. We would consume the rest of the panel and beyond. So I'm going to short shift the background, Jonathan, but he has grown up in the industry and held numerous positions in manufacturers that we all have heard of. I'd like to turn just briefly to JobsOhio itself. We're fortunate here in the state to have this private nonprofit corporation leading the way in not only job creation, but garnering new capital investment. And I think celebrating something about like 10 years now, Jonathan, correct? I think I saw the anniversary on the calendar. Really has been pivotal in moving the state and all of the organizations forward, which then of course leads to the advancement of the causes that we're talking about. So just kind of keeping an eye on the clock, Jonathan, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you for your comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. And absolutely right, 10 years in the making. And so, and happy to be here today. Thank you to PAVE. Thank you, Brett, for the introduction. Thank you, Howard, for the additional job title. And we work very closely with DriveOhio and FlyOhio. So it's really kind of a partnership of love, but really we share a lot of the same interests. So it's actually fortunate that we're able to be such good partners. Just to kind of keep it moving. I mean, when we used to talk about the automotive industry in Ohio, it was, Ohio was, the #4 producer of light vehicles. Ohio employs over 100,000 automotive employees. We're the #1 producer of engines. We're the second largest producer of transmissions in the U.S. And, we think about what it is in the automotive industry as the state. We have 7 different OEM players, from brand new Stellantis, which is born out of the merger with FCA and PSA, Honda, GM, Ford, as well as 2 commercial, Navistar and Kenworth, and then a brand new truck manufacturer in Lordstown Motors. And then you could actually even add an 8th OEM if you think about the iconic Airstream recreational vehicle manufacturer. So again, the automotive industry has always been strong, but what has transitioned is when we talk about the automotive industry, it's not really just automotive anymore, right? And as Dr. Howard had mentioned, it's really it's the mobility of Ohioans. It's the mobility that we're talking about now. It's not automotive, it's mobility. It's the access to mobility that's the driving force. And that's the new part of what we see as the industry. And, as also was mentioned, it's not only what we see and what we've always traditionally considered as being on the ground mobility, but now we're talking about mobility in the air. So again, the industry is evolving and the industry is moving extremely fast. So from a sector strategy is how we at JobsOhio continue to try to move the state of Ohio and the sector of the automotive industry mobility forward. We also, we try to work to ensure that the success of the OEMs that we have here in the state remains a strong proposition for their continued success and the continued success of Ohioans that they employ. But we also work to attract and grow the automotive supply chain base. And, those of you that are familiar with where Ohio sits within the automotive ecosystem, you recognize that, as I said, we're not the #1 producer of vehicle assembled products, but we're smack dab in the middle of that ecosystem. So we are a supply chain state, and that has been our strong suit. But again, as we continue to try to grow not only the supply chain, JobsOhio, working with the Developmental Services Agency, we work to attract in brand new technologies into the state of Ohio to not only advance the automotive and mobility industries, but also to continue to be an aggressive force to employ Ohioans into the future. I can't say that we do this alone. As was already mentioned, we have great partners here in the state of Ohio that are more than just partners, they're really assets of the state. When we talk about the Transportation Research Center and the brand new investments that they've made in their smart mobility, advanced research center, smart center for new technologies and autonomous and connected vehicles. I mean, that type of testing, that doesn't happen everywhere, but it's because of partners like Ohio State University, like the Transportation Research Center, that help move Ohio forward. And then we talk about the Ohio State University Center for Automotive Research and the work that they do in the partnership and collaboration with industry that we also are very much engaged with. Again, these are not only partners, but assets of our state. And as I mentioned earlier, we're not only talking about the drive side, but we're talking about the fly side. And so as we talk about the unmanned systems center in the Springfield Berkeley Municipal Airport that does research and testing and certification of UAS systems. Again, mobility has evolved, and Ohio is meeting that challenge to make sure that we're not left behind, but actually trying to lead. And so much of what we talk about when we talk about leading the industry, there's not only the technology piece, but it's the talent piece. And as we talk about the talent, you know, we have the Ohio State University, but we also have other institutions that are here to assist. I mean, in the state of Ohio, you have 151 registered apprenticeship programs in machining. You have 55 higher education programs that deal specifically with welding. So again, it's not only the 4-year degrees, but it's also those 2-year technical degrees that are assisting employers and as they gravitate to our state to find the right employees. And so again, here in Ohio, we have been successful in the automotive space, but again, it's not just the automotive space, it's the mobility space, and it's the mobility of the future. So again, JobsOhio is here to work with our partners, again, our assets of the state, to help bring Ohio to the continued forefront of the industry, but to be a partner as we gravitate new companies globally into our state. So again, thank you, Brett, and have a good day at the conference.
Thanks, Jonathan. So I'm not sure if we have those operating behind the curtain, making all of this happen. I'm not sure if we have any questions at this point in time. Speaking up, coming out from behind the curtain, Tara. Hi, Tara.
Brett, thank you so much for leading this morning's session and for introducing our tremendous speakers. For those of you who weren't with us yesterday, my name is Tara Andringa, and I'm the Executive Director of Partners for Automated Vehicle Education. Thank you all for joining us for day 2 of our conference. Want to echo what Brett said, that it's so exciting to see this whole AV ecosystem and all these pieces coming together and across academia and the public sector and private industry, all working together. And also want to echo some of the comments about Ohio. We have been working on this conference for many months now, and both are so grateful to our partners at TRC and DriveOhio who made this come together. And as we've been putting this together, it is just so exciting to see the enthusiasm with everyone we've dealt with in Ohio, and how forward-looking and knowledgeable everyone is about this technology and its ability to transform the future of transportation. And I'm a Michigan native, so that's high praise. But it's really been a great experience.